Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good day. We are in pet store. Oh, I was looking for the name of it. PetSmart. We are in PetSmart. We visit a lot of different pet stores from time to time, but just bringing you along for the ride today. We had 2 baby ducks hatch, and I'll just show you the clip right now. And guys, these are 2 little babies that we hatched in the little incubator. One of them is premature.
This one. Name is Little Cam.
He hatched out a couple days too early, and so his insides were on his outside. But that one right there hatched on his own. That one is 3 days old. This
2 days old.
Or 2 days old, and that one's a day old. Well, not quite a day.
Yeah.
This afternoon he'll be a day old. There's a heat lamp, keep them nice and warm. They stay together warming each other up. I think that other one's a cross, that light color one.
I don't know what he is.
I'm trying to cuddle up with each other. Yes, those just hatched. So we're having to come up here and get a couple of heat lamps. We got to get some different type bulbs for them. So when we go to bed at night, we don't have to worry about the wire overheating the plug. The lamp that we're using now is a heavy duty, it's the big red bulb, really hot, but the wire actually gets warm to the touch, and we're afraid to leave it on when we leave home or when we go to bed at night. So we got this one. It's showing backwards on the screen. I don't know why. But anyway, 75 watt heat lamp, and it is dimmable. We don't have a dimmer. We just got one of the Tractor Supply $10 heat lamps, and that's what we use for them. But anyhow, we're gonna move on. Got a couple of stops to make, and we're gonna drag you all along. So buckle up and hang on. This is the coolest little dude right here.
Like a ball. You too, honey.
Look at his eyeballs.
I want that sucker.
That is $80.
$10 off that.
And that's him. Ain't he cool?
I want him.
Hey, what's wrong with your eyeballs? He's checking things out.
He's crazy.
That's the coolest. I love it. He's looking behind him and in front of him at the same time. That is so wild. He's getting places. Oh, get it, buddy.
Got this. Look at this dog. He looks like Hammy, but with the tail, and a lot skinnier.
He is moving.
He's
Look
like,
at his little legs.
how's he going that fast with them little legs?
Have you had enough, buddy? That is a Chinese dwarf hamster. Well, he's covering some ground. Hey, you, come here. left PetSmart. Now we gotta, I think we're going home. We're riding down the road, going somewhere. Hey, Rosie Posey. Ready? Can't get in, I got the keys. Alright, we are leaving Panama City, headed towards, well, we're gonna head home, but we gotta stop by and get something cool.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Let's see. It's only showing 85 on the speedometer down there. Sure, it feels hotter than that. It's radiation. Soul Tracker. Kubota dealer. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna go to, where are we going? Sonic? Go to Sonic. They make some really good peanut butter milkshakes. We're going to get some groceries.
Yep.
I brought some articles with me I was going to read today, but it is so hot, there's nowhere where I can sit without drenching the articles in sweat. So we're going to wait until the rain hits, or I'll do them from inside the house. But I do have them with me.
No?
But we're going to head up here and get us a drink, and then we'll be headed up toward the house.
Okay.
Is there an extra straw?
All right.
Straw?
We got it. Everybody's got ice cream. So we all
Y'all
going to
happy
be
now?
cool in a minute. Yeah, Rosie's back there gobbling up her ice cream. So we are headed home now. Looks like it may be raining up at the house, which is, I hope it is. It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Very hot.
87 now. finally done for the day. We ran quite a few errands this morning. I did not film everything for obvious reasons, mainly because I could not reach my camera. It was in this backpack, my big backpack, and in the back of the van. But what I'm going to do, I'm finished up. I'm trying to get some work done over here. This is our friend who lives down the road from us. This is his property, he and his wife. And I've been working on this for a few months, clearing it. And that's the debris pile. And after about a month, it drops down, it settles a couple of feet, and then I can add more to it. But I don't want to build it up no higher than what it is. We're trying to fill in the low area. But before we close this out, we've got some articles. I will have to, here in just a little bit, I'm going to have to get going so I can get back to the house and start feeding. We're going to do, let's see, we'll do some Sasquatch stuff on the big guys. I'm so hot. I should have prepared this before. I was going to stop and get everything together before I started recording, but that didn't work out, mainly because I did not stop. But it's all good. We're not going to get all crazy into it. We are going to do some articles. I am so hot, I'm sweating horribly bad, and I'm trying not to soak these papers. Got a paper towel with me somewhere. There we go. I'm dripping everywhere. Humidity's really high today. It's cooled down. It's 83 degrees. Much better than what it reached. It got really hot this afternoon. I was about to panic. I just realized I can't see the words on the page. And I thought my glasses were at home, but I have them. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're going to do some articles. Do a couple anyway. I think I just blurred up my pages. My glasses. I blurred them bad. I can see it. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope life is treating all of you very, very good. Guys, if y'all hear, that sounds like a Harley Davidson passing up there on the road. If you hear vehicles, I am pretty close to the highway right here. This property goes back, further back. That's due south, almost straight in front of the tractor. North being behind me, west is toward you guys, toward the camera, and east is that direction. His property continues east. It goes west. It's about 170 yards to 200 yards from here to the shoulder, the easement for the highway. It's a nice property, a large property. And now we got an airplane passing overhead. It's always something. My phone will ring too here in a minute. As soon as the plane stops and I start reading, my phone will ring. Excuse me. All right. This article is titled "A Manitoba, Canada Ranch Sasquatch Scare." The year is April 21st, 1981. The location is Manitoba, Canada. And the source of this information is multiple eyewitness testimony and police sightings. Jacqueline Lane worked as a ranch helper on a large horse farm in Manitoba. One evening, she was interrupted from working in an oat shed with a loud bang on the back of the shed. Scaring her badly, she exited the shed and expected to see the geldings, but there wasn't any. A creature growled, and Jacqueline could tell it was close because she said it growled in her direction and she could feel it in her chest. Then she heard shuffling in the darkness behind the shed. She thought at the time She thought at the time that Sasquatch must have been sleeping in the shed. As she backed away from this shed, she could see its head and shoulders above the line of the shed, making this creature very tall. It looked one way, then the other way, and then looked directly at her and growled again, like a low rumble that could be felt in the chest. My phone's ringing. That'll be all right. She panicked and ran for the barn to get her helper and tell her what she had just seen, fearing for the safety of the geldings. Fearing for their lives, they both grabbed pitchforks and returned to find the creature still standing there. Screaming at it, the creature leaned and jumped into the paddock and ran off. Then they were joined by the farmer, who had a shotgun. No shots were fired, and the creature did not reappear. Later, at around 3 a.m., they were awakened by the police, telling them that their horses had escaped. They were so afraid of this creature that they ran through a barbed wire fence, ripping the post out of the ground. A morning local newspaper reported a police patroller seeing a tall, hairy thing jumping over a 10-foot fence in the same area. After this scary encounter and the horse's injuries, Jacqueline started putting pieces together. The missing oats, requiring the ordering of them to be made 2 weeks earlier than normal, the nest made in the straw bales under a blue tarp out back, and the mares being led out of the barn only to have them quickly run back inside, and other ranch animals acting strangely. She figured out that the Sasquatch approached the ranch in the winter to eat the oats and make nests in the abandoned sheds. Jacqueline said she does not want to see another one. That's the end of that article, and that's typical Sasquatch behavior from what we hear from so many other people having encounters with them in that fashion. That's, to me, it sounds like typical Sasquatch behavior for sure. All right, this one's a little longer. It's not much, but it is a little bit longer. It's getting dark, and there's a bunch of activity that comes from back there, if you guys can see back there. I've had a lot of issues with sticks being thrown at me, and it comes from the other side of this sinkhole where I was working back there. That's why I moved up closer to the road. I don't want to be over there. It's getting late. All right, this one's titled, Can Sasquatch Be Trusted Alone with Children? The year is May 19th, 2000. The locations are Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and the Verdigris River area in Oklahoma. The information source for this article is eyewitness Dr. Arthur Gostin, a dentist, and over 33 other eyewitness reports, search parties, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and news articles. 11 years after a plane crash, the sightings begin. Many reports were coming out of the Vancouver, British Columbia area of a large creature being seen accompanied by a human blonde-haired youngster that was dressed in animal skins and loping alongside a very tall, beastly-like man. Authorities believe this may have been a child who survived a private plane crash in the area 11 years earlier in 1989, named Marcel Dussoir. They thought a Sasquatch, or possibly a large feral human, may have raised the baby through childhood. The private plane crash that happened in the area in 1989 killed the pilot and 4 passengers. French tourists, including the baby's mother, Madeleine Dussoir, When the crash was located and investigated, the 1-year-old baby Marcel was missing from the plane. A zoologist suspected that Sasquatch is not the loping, ambling monster that most picture this beast as being, but has caring, nurturing qualities and compassion. It's the opinion of many who have first-hand experience that these creatures are wild animals, and may give you the sense of compassion in the sense that at that moment They are not being aggressive, but they can turn on you like any wild animal can, and at some point they will, and so they are not to be trusted. Personal experiences and testimony say these creatures are and can be dangerous, and are sinister and will lure you out. In late March 2000, Dr. Gostin had been camping in the Canadian Rockies with his family when they first spotted this boy. They said he was lean and wiry with long matted hair. He had been awakened from frantic cries from his 12-year-old daughter. He came out of the tent with his daughter pointing at the woods saying, "There's the wild boy who is stealing our food." They had built a fire, and some avid hunters swear that a fire keeps Sasquatch further out from your camp. But in this case, did the Sasquatch use the wild boy to go into the camp to steal food? Dr. Gostin looked to where his daughter was pointing and saw a half-naked man standing in the trees with their canned goods under his arm. At first, this angered him that their food was being stolen, so he gave chase and actually caught up with this child at the edge of a clearing. When he got there, he couldn't believe his eyes. "I couldn't believe my eyes." The blonde-haired boy was standing next to an enormous, hairy, man-like creature at least 8 feet tall. Was it a human boy or a juvenile Sasquatch? The 8-foot Sasquatch took some of the boy's food, and they both loped off into the woods with the same hunched-over walk and stride. I don't know if y'all heard that. That was really loud. Something just hit. I think it hit that dead tree over there. That's what it sounded like. Sorry. I don't like those kind of distractions. I'm going to finish this one up and we'll call it quits for right now. Since then, there have been 33 reports of a blonde-haired wild boy seen with what people believe is a Sasquatch. Witnesses include clergymen, forest rangers, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. In many of these sightings, the boy and the Sasquatch have been seen exchanging guttural sounds as if talking to each other. Other witnesses camping report hearing low chattering or muffled voices before seeing this wild boy in their camp. The question may arise, are Sasquatch stealing kids? And that's what the feral people are that people occasionally see, which can be accompanied by low chattering or muffled voices. The authorities said this wild boy has all the signs of being a feral child with no contact with humans and has been raised by a Sasquatch who may be raising other feral people in the region. His hunched-over gait must be due to imitating his surrogate mother. They are also able to communicate in a non-human language, a guttural mumbling. The sinister side. Speaking of Sasquatch being on the sinister side and should not be trusted when they approach, one family in a rural, isolated part of Oklahoma went fishing one night on a river and had something approach them, making non-human noises and walking with a non-human, hunched-over gait, almost as if injured. The man did draw his firearm and warn it not to approach any closer. It must have understood because it let out an evil laugh and turned around and walked off. However, it did not leave the area. It climbed trees and moved into the trees, and the family could hear it stalking them. And it was too eerie for this family, so they packed up their fishing gear quickly and left. As they were leaving in their truck and going down the road, which had tight turns with heavy woods on each side, the mother commented to not be surprised if it doesn't try to get in the door. This thing actually slammed the side of their truck and tried pulling the door handle to get inside. Wow. Sasquatch abducts a mentally disabled child in Oklahoma. One personal experience tells of a mentally disabled child who lived with his mother near the Verdigris River in a rural, isolated part of Oklahoma during the 1950s. He would play in the backyard and yell and make loud noise. Normally he would come back inside for dinner, but at some point, he started staying out later and later. Then he started talking about a friend he had met, and of course, his mother thought it to be an imaginary friend who was teaching him things. Things like, when eating supper, put extra food in your pockets and take it outside, which is what he started doing. His mother, of course, thought he was just saving extra food to eat outside later. On nights when the moon was full, he would go outside, which he never usually did at night, and holler at the moon. Eventually, he was returning later and later in the evening, so his mother started leaving his plate of food on the back steps. He would show up late and eat his food and go to his room until one night he didn't return. Huge searches found nothing of this boy, but the mother said on full moon nights she swore she could hear him in the distance hollering at the moon, and she said this went on for many years. What we can learn from this is that Sasquatch can take your children, and maybe they don't kill them, or maybe it did and was just mimicking her son to lure her into the dark woods at night and away from the safety of her home. Had the woman who lived alone ever went out in the woods at night to investigate the howls, she might have disappeared also. And that's the end of that article. Guys, I hate cutting this short. I've got a lot of sounds coming from my left side. You guys are on my right side. From right back here, the other side of the pit where I'm filling the debris, there's a lot of sounds coming from that. I am not sticking around. I am getting out of here and I'm going home. I do not want to run in with them things. If that's what's making them sounds, I don't know. I have not seen nothing, but I don't want to find out. I've seen them before, and that's all I need. I definitely don't want to see another one. But I'm going to get at her. I'm going to close the camera up, and I'm going to get rolling. I doubt you guys are going to be able to hear it because I am using a wireless microphone and it does not pick up ambient noises very well. It's just meant to pick up your voice. Like that sound there. I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to get out of here. We've got more articles coming in here sometime in the very, very near future. I'll be doing a show with them. I just want to give you guys a head up. My brother Troy, he had the emergency surgery on his lung in the hospital. He had a huge infection on his lung. Oh, look guys, I don't have nothing in my hand. I want to show you something. I just noticed this. Let me get the camera off. Maybe a little loud, I apologize. I just noticed this right here. Can you guys see that? I don't know how clear that is. I ain't got my glasses on. It appears to be about 6 inches long. It's wadded up. It got caught on the little barb right there on the limb. You see the little barb on the bottom right here? There's another one right there. Yeah. All right, guys. I love you all. God bless you. Y'all have a phenomenal evening. And I'll absolutely see you guys very soon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight or today. Maybe I'll get a show going. Maybe tonight. I'm going to keep the camera going for a minute. Just in case. Ooh, almost hit the tree. It's close. Those sounds were coming from right there on the other side of this. I've got all this cleared up here already. He wants me to clear that backside back there, but I'm not clearing that mess. There's no way. Every time I go back there, I get sticks thrown at me. Alright, I'm going to put this in high gear and I am going to get on the road. I'm going to have to hold the wheel because it's going to get, when I start going up right here, it's going to be really, really bumpy. Y'all have a phenomenal afternoon. And again, thank you for hanging out with me today. I love each and every one of you. And if there's anything that I can help you with, please email me at standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. And I will do my very best to do what I can for you. Thank you all for the prayers. For Troy and for Mr. and Miss Seifert and for me and my family. Thank you tremendously. I think I could take off right here. Taking out a four-wheel drive and I'm gonna get going. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night and be safe. Bye.